You look in the mirror every day hoping that ab line will finally show up, but it never does. You do crunches. A lot of crunches. How many sets did you follow along with online videos just this week? Honestly, you've probably lost count. You've spent months sweating on your living room floor, holding your breath, counting reps, convinced that this time, it would finally work. Then you lift up your t-shirt, and it's the same old story. That stubborn layer of fat refuses to leave, and that feeling of, why won't my body cooperate with me, never seems to disappear. Then the worst part hits. You start thinking the problem is you, but it isn't. Listen carefully. The problem was never your willpower. You didn't fail because you're lazy. You didn't fail because you lack discipline, and your abs aren't automatically doomed because of genetics. You failed because from day one, you may have been following the wrong method. The fitness industry has made billions selling the idea that 1,000 crunches a day will magically give you abs. That's not how the body works. And as long as you keep believing that idea, you can spend months putting in more effort while moving in the wrong direction. Think about how many people you know who do crunches every single day, yet still have the same stomach. That's not necessarily because they're lazy. The method itself is incomplete. You are not the problem. The information you were given is. So take a deep breath, because everything changes today. I'm going to give you 6 real secrets to building stronger, more visible abs at home, no gym, no expensive equipment, and no crazy diet. Every one of these is based on how your body actually works: physiology, nutrition, recovery, and behavior. And the final secret is the simplest of all. It's so simple that almost nobody takes it seriously, yet it can make a major difference in how your waist looks and how you control your core. So stay with me until the end. Secret number 1, understand why endless crunches are a mistake. You've probably already fallen into this trap. Hundreds of crunches every week, thinking you'll somehow melt the fat sitting on top of your abs. It doesn't work that way. And there's a clear scientific reason. It's called the myth of spot reduction. The belief that training a specific muscle automatically burns the fat covering that exact area. Your body doesn't work that way. Fat loss is a whole body process. Your body mobilizes stored fat based on overall energy, balance, and a variety of hormonal and physiological signals, not simply because you're contracting one specific muscle. You could do 10,000 crunches, and that doesn't mean your stomach fat will magically disappear from that area. Research on localized exercise has generally failed to show meaningful spot reduction. In other words, crunches can strengthen and build your abdominal muscles, but reducing the layer of fat covering them requires reducing overall body fat. That's the part most people miss. So stop desperately counting reps. Start thinking bigger. Fewer mindless crunches. More intelligent training. More attention to your overall nutrition and activity. That's the real strategy. Secret number 2 has a name: protein. And no, this isn't just for people who want to get huge. If your goal is to reshape your body, protein is one of the most useful tools you can have, especially when hunger hits at 9 p.m. and you're standing in front of the refrigerator, wondering how you're going to resist everything inside it. Here's why protein matters. Of the 3 macronutrients, protein is generally the most satiating. It can influence appetite-related hormones and help you feel fuller for longer. Your body also uses more energy to digest and process protein compared with fat and carbohydrates, so you get 2 useful benefits: more fullness and a higher thermic effect of food. There's another critical point. When you moderately reduce your food intake, getting enough protein helps preserve lean muscle mass. That matters because the goal isn't simply to become lighter. You want to lose fat while keeping the muscle underneath. That's what helps your abs look defined once the fat comes down. And you don't need expensive supplements to do it. A simple meal containing rice and beans, plus eggs or meat, can already provide a solid protein base. Eggs, chicken, fish, beans, Greek yogurt, whatever fits your diet and budget. Put a protein source in your meals. Spread your intake throughout the day instead of trying to cram everything into one meal. That's it. You don't need to starve yourself to get abs. Secret number 3 is the opposite of what you've probably been taught. Tension first, then reps. The problem is that when most people do crunches, they go on autopilot. Fast, high volume, barely controlled. The muscle barely experiences meaningful tension, and that matters. Your abs respond to the same basic training principles as other muscles in your body. One of the biggest is mechanical tension, the force experienced by the muscle fibers as they work against resistance. Swinging through 1,000 sloppy reps creates a lot of fatigue, but fatigue alone isn't the goal. If you want stronger, more developed abs, you need quality reps. So forget chasing huge numbers. Slow the movement down. Control every repetition. Actually feel the abdominal contraction. Pause briefly at the hardest point. A properly performed plank with your abs, genuinely braced, can be more useful than a pile of sloppy crunches. Fewer reps, better reps, more intention, because it's the quality of the stimulus that matters. Secret number 4 is about something you do every night. I call it the nighttime belly thief, and it's something almost everyone underestimates: sleep. When you consistently sleep poorly, your appetite and recovery can suffer. Sleep restriction can affect hormones involved in hunger and satiety, including ghrelin and leptin, and it can make high-calorie foods much harder to resist. And chronic stress can also affect cortisol regulation and appetite. The result? You wake up hungrier, you crave more highly rewarding foods, and suddenly sticking to your nutrition plan becomes much harder. That isn't simply a lack of willpower. Your biology is influencing your behavior. Research has repeatedly linked insufficient sleep with changes in appetite, food intake, and body weight regulation. So poor sleep can work against your body composition goals from multiple directions. Treat sleep like part of your training. Darken the room. Reduce screens before bed. Keep a consistent sleep schedule. And give your body enough time to recover. Sleeping well isn't wasted time. It's part of the process. Secret number 5, the invisible activity that can burn more calories than your workout. This sounds exaggerated, but think about your average day. You might exercise for 30 or 45 minutes, then spend the other 23 hours sitting. There's a concept called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's basically the energy you burn through movement outside of formal exercise. Walking, climbing stairs, cooking, cleaning, standing, fidgeting, even bouncing your leg while sitting. For some people, the difference in daily energy expenditure between being active and being sedentary can add up to hundreds of calories. And unlike a brutal workout, these little movements don't have to leave you exhausted. The human body wasn't designed to spend the entire day glued to a chair. So break up the sitting, stand up regularly, take the stairs when practical, walk while you're on the phone, clean the house, take a short walk after meals. These small actions add up, and over weeks and months they can make a meaningful difference. Because what defines your body isn't just what you do during that 30-minute workout, it's also what you do during the other 23.5 hours. Secret number 6 is here, and it's probably the simplest and most ignored of all. It's about how you breathe and how you brace your midsection. Listen closely, because this one can change how you control your core. Some relatively lean people still appear to have a protruding stomach, and sometimes body fat isn't the entire explanation. Your posture, abdominal control, breathing mechanics, and the strength of your deep core muscles can all affect how your midsection looks. Underneath the visible abdominal muscles is a deep muscle called the transverse abdominis. Think of it like a natural abdominal corset. It wraps around your midsection and helps stabilize your trunk. And many people rarely train this type of abdominal control directly. That doesn't mean the muscle is literally switched off, but improving your ability to brace and control your core can absolutely be useful. One old school technique for practicing that control is the stomach vacuum. Here's how. Exhale gently. Draw your abdomen inward, pulling your navel toward your spine. Hold the contraction for around 15 to 20 seconds while taking light breaths if you can do so comfortably. Repeat it a few times. You can practice it at home, while standing, or during quiet moments throughout the day. Nobody even needs to know you're doing it. Old school bodybuilders used vacuum poses to create the appearance of a tighter waist and better abdominal control long before modern fitness equipment became common. But remember, the vacuum is not a magic fat-burning exercise. It won't directly melt belly fat, and it won't replace strength training or nutrition. What it can do is help you practice abdominal control and bracing. And that's exactly why it belongs in your toolbox. So let's put everything together. You don't need 1,000 crunches. You don't need to starve yourself. You don't need expensive equipment. And you definitely don't need to spend hours on your living room floor every day. You need a smarter strategy. Reduce overall body fat. Eat enough protein. Train your abs with real tension and controlled reps. Get enough sleep. Move more throughout the day. And learn how to properly brace and control your core. That's the difference between endlessly chasing the idea of abs and actually building the foundation that makes them visible. And remember the most important part, you were never the problem. The approach was, if you found this video useful and want more practical fitness advice that actually helps you build a stronger body, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.